What separates those who succeed from those who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's mindset. Every day, from the moment they wake up, winners are thinking differently. They see the same world you see, but they don't process it the same way. They feel the same pain, face the same doubts, experience the same delays, but they don't break. They don't quit. Because their mindset isn't built on convenience. It's built on commitment. It's shaped not by what happens around them, but by what they demand from themselves. They don't need easy. They need purpose, and that's why they win. Success begins in the mind long before it shows up in the bank account, long before it's posted on the scoreboard, long before it becomes a story others want to hear. It starts in silence, in the way you talk to yourself when nobody's watching, in the way you respond to struggle when it gets personal, in the way you carry yourself when everything feels uncertain. Most people wait for a breakthrough. Winners create one. They wake up and build it thought by thought, belief by belief, choice by choice. You don't need anyone's permission to change your life. You don't need their validation, their applause, or their approval. What you need is a decision, a line in the sand that says, from this moment forward, I think like someone who refuses to settle. Most people hope, winners decide. Most people wish, winners work. The average man is guided by emotion. The winner is guided by principles. And if you want to rise, if you want to build a life that feels right to you, not just one that looks good on the outside, then you need to begin by taking back control of your mind. Start here. Thoughts become choices. Choices become habits. Habits become your identity. The way you think when things get hard, that's who you are. The way you show up when no one's keeping score, that's who you are. And your life right now is a reflection of what you've tolerated from yourself up until this point. If you want more, you have to become more. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the standard you set for yourself each day. Winners don't rely on motivation. They build systems. They build routines. They don't wait to feel like it. They do it because they said they would. They do it because discipline is non-negotiable. Because clarity is a daily decision. Because average is addictive, and they refuse to be pulled back into it. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about ownership. It's the mindset of, if it's to be, it's up to me. And that one belief, when repeated with consistency, becomes the foundation of greatness. Most people are distracted. They scroll, they compare, they consume. But winners are locked in. They train their mind to stay focused on what matters most. They don't chase everything. They pursue the few things that change everything. And because of that, they move forward, while everyone else is standing still. You'll never build a life you love if you keep chasing what doesn't align. So ask yourself, what am I really after? What am I willing to go through to get it? What excuses am I finally ready to kill? Clarity isn't found. It's created. You create it by eliminating what doesn't belong, by choosing purpose over pleasure, by doing the hard things long enough that they become normal. It's not the chaos outside that keeps people stuck. It's the confusion inside. Winners get clear on who they are, what they want, and what they're willing to sacrifice. They don't just set goals. They build identity. They don't just make plans. They develop character. They don't just talk about success. They train for it. Pain is part of the process. Winners don't avoid it. They study it. They learn from it. Because on the other side of every challenge is a lesson that makes them stronger. And if you're unwilling to struggle, you're also unwilling to succeed. You don't get to rise without resistance. You don't get the reward without the responsibility. And if you want to live at a higher level, you've got to think at a higher level. It's not about having no fear. It's about not letting fear control your next step. Every winner you admire felt it, but they moved anyway. They acted when it was uncomfortable. They made decisions when the path wasn't guaranteed. And because they stayed in motion, life rewarded their faith. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is when you decide to stop waiting. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not done. But you do have to make a change. You do have to challenge the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Because the way you think today is shaping the life you'll live tomorrow. And if you're not willing to think like a winner, don't expect to live like one. There's a mindset that refuses to quit. A mindset that doesn't get swayed by opinions or setbacks. A mindset that wakes up and says, let's go again, even when yesterday didn't go as planned. That mindset isn't born, it's built. It's built every time you choose discipline over distraction. Every time you honor your word, even when it's hard. Every time you show up, especially when it's easier not to. You've got to ask yourself, what story am I writing with my life? Because your thoughts are the pen. Your habits are the pages. And every single day, you're either writing a story of strength or one of surrender. You're either building momentum or building regret. You're either rising or repeating. It doesn't matter how long you've waited. It doesn't matter what you've lost. It doesn't matter what's been said about you. What matters is what you do now. What matters is whether or not you take control of the next hour, the next decision, the next day. Because winners don't need perfect conditions. They create momentum out of discipline. They build confidence by keeping promises to themselves. When most people get tired, they retreat. Winners rise. When most people fail, they blame. Winners reflect. When most people get comfortable, winners get focused. They know the fight isn't over just because they got a taste of success. They know growth is a lifetime gain. And they're in it all the way. You can change your entire life by changing what you expect from yourself. By refusing to tolerate average. By refusing to let your old story control your new choices. The key is in your habits. What you do daily is shaping who you become. It's not the big wins that create greatness. It's the small disciplines done every single day, without excuses. And I'll tell you something. You already know what you need to do. Deep down you know. You've just been avoiding it. You've been convincing yourself that now isn't the time. That maybe next week you'll feel more ready. But you won't. Because readiness doesn't show up. It's created through action, through courage, through the daily grind that nobody celebrates. Stop looking for motivation. Start building discipline. Stop chasing outcomes. Start mastering process. That's how winners think. That's how they live. They're not focused on what the world owes them. They're focused on what they owe themselves. On who they promised they'd become. And every morning they show up to close that gap. And you can too. Not someday. Not when things are easier. But today. Right here, right now. You can decide that you're done living below your potential. You can decide that your standards are rising. That from this moment on, you're going to operate at a different level. Not because someone told you to, not because you got inspired for a few minutes, but because deep inside, you know you're built for more. That switch from waiting to owning, from hoping to acting, that's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who keep making excuses. And that switch lives in your mindset. It's the voice inside your head when your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It's the decision to move forward when everyone else is standing still. It's the belief that you can do hard things, not once, but every single day. Because success doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. And consistency starts with identity. You have to see yourself differently. Not as someone trying to get better, but as someone who doesn't accept anything less than their best. As someone who keeps their word. As someone who finishes what they start. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they keep giving themselves an exit. They leave the back door open. Winners lock it shut. It's not about talent. It's about commitment. The willingness to do what needs to be done, even when you're not in the mood, even when nobody's cheering, even when your progress feels slow. Because when you act like a winner long enough, you become one. It's not just about what you do. It's about what you become through doing it. And that's the part nobody sees. The early mornings, the long nights, the conversations you have with yourself when it would be easy to quit, the days you show up without recognition, without applause, and still give it everything you've got. That's what shapes you. That's what prepares you for the moments that matter. Because when opportunity comes, it doesn't ask if you're ready. It reveals whether you've been preparing in silence. You've got to train your mind to work for you, not against you. That means challenging every excuse, interrupting every pattern, and choosing your future over your feelings. Your feelings are temporary, but your decisions build a life. Winners don't let emotions lead. They let values lead. And when the values are strong enough, the path becomes clear. Are you willing to do what most people won't? Are you willing to wake up early when your bed feels warm? Are you willing to say no to distractions that give you nothing back? Are you willing to be uncomfortable, not once, but every single day for the life you said you wanted? If not, stop saying you want it. Stop pretending you're committed when your actions say otherwise. There's no hack, no shortcut, no fast lane to excellence. There's only the work, the boring, uncomfortable, consistent work that nobody wants to do. And that's exactly why it works. Because most people tap out. Most people break. Most people fold under pressure. But winners, they bend, but they don't break. They get tired, but they don't quit. They doubt themselves, but they still move forward. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about refusing to give up when things go wrong. It's about being honest with yourself when you slip, correcting course, and showing up again. You're not going to win every day, but you better keep showing up every day. Winners don't lie to themselves. They don't sugarcoat the truth. They don't blame other people or outside conditions. They take full ownership. If they fall short, they own it. If they fail, they learn from it. If they feel afraid, they face it. That kind of responsibility is rare, but that's why winning is rare. You can't rise with a victim mindset. You can't win when you're still blaming your past. You can't grow when you're focused on who hurt you, what went wrong, or what's missing. Winners let that go. They understand that holding on to resentment, excuses, and old stories keeps them stuck. So they cut it off. They focus forward. They take the pain and use it as fuel. And here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you the life you want. You've got to go build it. You've got to show up, even when nobody's clapping. You've got to grind even when nobody's watching. You've got to believe in your own future, even when it feels far away. And if you can do that, if you can keep going when it's hard, you'll be unstoppable. What makes a winner isn't that they have less fear or fewer problems. What makes a winner is that they've decided to rise anyway. They've decided their dreams are more important than their comfort, that their purpose is louder than their pain, that their future matters more than their excuses. And that decision, that fire, it changes everything. Start thinking like a winner, and the world will start treating you like one. But you've got to earn it. You've got to make it undeniable. You've got to make it obvious that you're not playing small anymore, that you're done making excuses, that you're here to dominate your day, master your mind, and win your life. There's a moment in every winner's journey when they realize something critical. No one owes them anything. Not respect, not success, not validation, not even a chance. Everything they want, they'll have to earn. That realization isn't bitter, it's liberating. Because once you stop expecting life to hand you something, you start creating your own momentum. You stop waiting, you stop complaining, and you start moving. The ones who win, they move with intention. They don't stumble into success. They structure their days. They build routines that sharpen their focus. They make time for reflection. They learn from yesterday, they plan for tomorrow, but they execute like today is the only day that matters, because it is. Most people drift. Winners drive. There's a difference between living on autopilot and living on purpose. One keeps you stuck. The other sets you free. You've got to wake up each morning with a clear mind and a strong reason. What are you building? Who are you becoming? Why does it matter? Answer those questions honestly. Let them fuel you. Let them center you. Because on the days when motivation disappears, and it will, only clarity and purpose will keep you going. The difference between average and extraordinary, it's not talent, it's direction, it's discipline. It's that moment when you're tempted to give less and you choose to give more. It's the decision to be relentless. The mindset of a winner isn't just about going fast, it's about going far. And to go far, you've got to be consistent. You've got to be focused. You've got to be dangerous in your level of commitment. Every day you have two choices: shrink back or step forward. Winners step forward. Not because it's easy, but because they've trained their minds to reject mediocrity. You've got to get to the point where average feels disgusting, where playing small feels like a betrayal. Not to anyone else, but to yourself. That's where greatness starts. In the silence, in the quiet, when it's just you, your thoughts, and the truth. No one to impress. No one to pretend for. Just raw honesty. What needs to change? What have you been avoiding? What are you tolerating that's holding you back? Winners don't run from those questions. They face them head on. They know that self-awareness is power. You can't fix what you won't face. The moment you start calling yourself out, the moment you stop tolerating your own lies, that's when transformation begins. That's when you start rebuilding from the inside. That's when you start shifting your mindset from maybe to must. From someday to right now. This is not about hype. This is not about quick fixes or feel-good phrases. This is about building something real, something permanent, a foundation that doesn't crack when life punches you in the face. And it will, because life tests everyone. It pushes, it pressures, it breaks the uncommitted. But those with a winner's mindset, they rise under pressure. They use it. They grow because of it. If you're waiting for things to get easier, stop. They won't, but you will get stronger. You'll get sharper. You'll get wiser. And when you do, the obstacles in your way won't seem so big anymore. The problem wasn't the mountain, it was your mindset. And once that shifts, you start seeing challenges as training. Every struggle becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. That's the mindset of a winner. They don't break, they build. And when you build with intention. You stop wasting your time on things that don't move you forward. You stop entertaining drama. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. You stop seeking approval. You realize you were never supposed to fit in. You were supposed to rise. So you protect your energy. You guard your focus. You stay grounded in your goals. And you learn to say no. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You start valuing your time. Because winners know time is not money. Time is life. You can lose money and make more. But once time is gone, it's gone. So they treat it with respect. They structure it. They use it wisely. They don't waste it on gossip, distractions, or things that don't align with their vision. They trade every hour for growth. And because of that, their future multiplies. A winning mindset doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you don't let fear decide. It means you move forward anyway. It means you've trained yourself to act in spite of doubt. It means you've replaced emotion with commitment. You no longer ask, do I feel like it? You ask, what needs to be done? And then you do it. Tired, scared, uncomfortable. It doesn't matter. Winners move anyway. They move when it's hard. They move when it's quiet. They move when nobody's watching. Because that's what separates the real from the fake. Anybody can post online. Anybody can talk about goals. But when it's 5 a.m. and the alarm goes off, the difference shows. That's where the winners rise. When it's dark, when it's lonely, when there's nothing but you and your choice. So what choice are you making today? Are you feeding your excuses or your execution? Are you playing victim or playing to win? You don't need a perfect plan. You need a persistent mind. You don't need motivation. You need momentum. Stop negotiating with your old self. That version of you had its time, but that version doesn't belong in the life you're building now. Let go of the patterns that held you back. Let go of the habits that drained your strength. Let go of the people who don't believe in you. You're not here to be liked. You're here to grow. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to build something that lasts. And you can't build a future while clinging to a past that didn't serve you. Winners move light. They drop what no longer fits. They stop carrying the weight of people's opinions, the weight of past mistakes, the weight of fear. They know that to rise, you've got to travel with clarity. And clarity comes from cutting the noise, from doing the deep work, from spending time alone with your thoughts and asking the hard questions. Where am I going? Who am I becoming? What am I building? You're not just chasing success. You're becoming someone new, someone focused, someone disciplined, someone resilient, someone who shows up when it's hard, someone who builds without praise, someone who wins in silence. And when you think like that, when you really think like that, success doesn't surprise you. It finds you ready. Because readiness is not luck. It's built. It's earned. It's sculpted in silence, refined in struggle, tested in chaos. And when it shows up, people call it talent or destiny. But you know the truth. You know what it took. You know the mornings you didn't want to get up and did. The nights you wanted to quit but didn't. The days when nothing worked and you showed up anyway. That's the part no one sees. That's the part that separates the winners. The mindset of a winner is not something you're born with. It's something you decide on. Every single day, when you wake up, when you step into your day, when you face disappointment, it's a decision. Am I going to give my best, or am I going to give in? That choice builds or breaks your life. You don't get what you want. You get what you repeat, and what you repeat becomes who you are. So look at your habits. What do they say about you? Are they aligned with the future you want, or are they keeping you stuck in a version of yourself you should have let go of years ago? Winners audit their lives constantly, not with shame, with awareness, because awareness creates change. It opens the door to better decisions, and better decisions, made consistently, lead to a better life. There's no mystery here. There's just mastery. The daily mastery of small intentional actions. The winner's mindset is obsessed with getting better. Not perfect, better. Not someday, today. They learn, they adapt, they evolve. They don't need the world to change for them to improve. They become the change. They make the shift internally, so nothing outside of them has control. Most people are reactive. Winners are proactive. They don't wait to be forced into growth. They choose growth. They pursue challenge. They lean into discomfort because they know discomfort is the training ground for strength. Every time they stretch, they grow. Every time they push, they break limits. And that's how they separate from the crowd. Not by doing what's popular, by doing what's required. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment, but results do. And winners fall in love with results. Not opinions, not validation. Results. They want to see change in their body, in their mind, in their finances, in their habits, in their impact. That's why they stay consistent, because consistency is the bridge between the life you have and the life you want. You can't skip the bridge. You can't cheat the work. You can't lie to the mirror and expect to feel proud. You've got to put in the hours. You've got to sweat, sacrifice, and silence the excuses. And most of all, you've got to keep your word to yourself, because that's where real confidence comes from. It's not built on compliments. It's built on self-respect, on doing the things you said you would do, long after the feeling you said it in is gone. And when you operate from that place of personal integrity, you stop looking for shortcuts. You stop hoping for easy. You want the real thing. You want the challenge, because you know every ounce of effort is an investment in the future version of you. And that future version, they're watching you now. They're counting on you to stop wasting time, to stop waiting for permission, to stop living small. No one is going to hand it to you. No one is going to save you. No one is going to show up and do the work for you. This is your life. These are your choices. This is your one shot to build something extraordinary. And the only way you do that is by thinking like a winner. A winner doesn't ask for easy. They ask for strength. They ask for focus. They ask for the kind of mindset that keeps going long after the crowd is gone, long after the applause fades, long after the world stops watching. Because real winners don't perform for attention. They perform for growth. They perform for mastery. They perform for the satisfaction of knowing they gave everything they had, every single day. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. You don't need the world to cheer you on. All you need is a reason strong enough to keep moving. A why that makes the how irrelevant. A mindset that refuses to be shaken. You're not just trying to win once. You're trying to become the kind of person who wins again and again. Not because they're lucky, but because they're built for it. And being built for it means you've trained your emotions. You've learned to act without needing to feel ready. You've learned to show up without needing praise. You've learned to keep your standards high, even when the results aren't there yet. Because you know, if I keep planting, if I keep working, if I keep showing up, something will grow. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the harvest will come. And when it does, it will reflect your mindset more than your talent, more than your background, more than your education. It will reflect how you think, how you act, how you move. The question is, how are you thinking right now? Are you thinking like a winner? Are you thinking with intention, with focus, with purpose? Or are you still letting old thoughts, old fears, old habits drive your decisions? Winners think differently. They don't think about what they can't do. They think about what they must do. They don't think about who they've been. They think about who they're becoming. They don't dwell on the problem. They zero in on the solution. They train their brain to stay forward focused because that's where the power is. Not in the past, not in what went wrong, but in what's possible now. The mind is a battlefield, and winners fight for control. They don't hand over their peace to every little setback. They don't let every opinion shake their confidence. They protect their mental space like it's sacred, because it is. What you think, you become. So winners choose their thoughts the way a warrior chooses their weapons. Carefully, strategically, deliberately. They choose thoughts that build, thoughts that push, thoughts that serve, thoughts that energize, and they cut off the rest. No more I'm not good enough. No more it's too late. No more I don't have what it takes. That kind of thinking has no place in a winner's mind, because once you let it in, it spreads. And if you let it stay, it will shape your life into something small, something safe, something forgettable. But you're not here to live forgettable. You're not here to blend in. You're here to stand up, to rise up, to build a life that speaks for itself. No bragging, no explaining, just proof. And the proof starts in how you think. So how do you think like a winner when your life doesn't look like one yet? How do you keep a strong mind when everything around you feels uncertain, unsteady, even unfair? You remind yourself that the outside doesn't control the inside. The world doesn't set your standards. You do. The chaos doesn't decide your discipline. You do. The setbacks don't get to dictate your spirit. You do. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what can I do with this? That's the pivot that changes everything. Because when you stop seeing obstacles as signs to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to grow, you unlock a new level of control over your life. You stop feeling like a victim. You start acting like a creator. And that's what winners are. They're creators. They take whatever life gives them and turn it into something better. A winner's mindset is built on choices, not circumstances. You might not control what shows up at your door, but you control how you show up in response. That's the power most people ignore. They think success is about luck, timing, connections. But the truth, it's mostly about emotional discipline. The ability to keep your mind right when everything around you is wrong. The ability to stay calm when others panic. The ability to keep your focus when life tries to steal it. And that kind of discipline doesn't come from reading quotes or making mood boards. It comes from getting in the trenches with your thoughts every day. It comes from choosing not to react when it would be easy to. It comes from being aware, deeply aware, of how your thinking patterns are shaping your actions. You have to become a master of your own mind, because if you don't, someone else will. The world is loud. It wants your attention. It wants your comparison. It wants your insecurities. And if you're not careful, it'll feed you thoughts that shrink you, thoughts that drain you, thoughts that pull you away from your power. That's why winners are selective about what they read, what they watch, who they surround themselves with. Not because they're arrogant, because they're focused, because they know their energy is sacred, their goals are sacred, their future is sacred. And anything that threatens that doesn't get access, you've got to guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. The quality of your thoughts will decide the quality of your life, not your background, not your struggles, not even your potential, your thinking. That's what controls the game. You show me someone who wins consistently, and I'll show you someone who has trained their mind to think in alignment with their vision. They've learned to silence doubt. They've learned to challenge fear. They've learned to expect resistance and keep going anyway. That's the mental toughness most people avoid developing. But without it, you'll keep starting over. You'll keep sabotaging your progress. You'll keep being at the mercy of how you feel, instead of being in command of what you do. So many people waste their energy trying to feel motivated. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until it's easy. They wait until they feel good. But winners know you don't need motivation to move. You need standards. You need clarity. You need a reason so deep that quitting becomes more painful than pushing forward. That's how you build a foundation strong enough to withstand life's pressure. Clarity is power. If you don't know what you want, you'll never have the discipline to stay the course. You'll chase distractions. You'll follow trends. You'll live in reaction instead of direction. But when you're clear, crystal clear, you stop entertaining things that don't align. You say no faster. You focus deeper. You simplify. Because you understand that everything comes at a cost. Time, energy, focus. They're not free. And winners don't spend them carelessly. They understand the value of time. They don't waste it waiting for external permission. They give themselves the green light. They move with urgency, not desperation, urgency, because they know life doesn't slow down for them to catch up. It keeps moving. And if they want to keep up, if they want to lead, they've got to match that pace with intention, with action, with clarity. They also understand this success is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's not a goal you reach. It's a way of living you commit to. Every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Are you voting for discipline or for comfort? Are you voting for purpose or for procrastination? Every small choice matters, because your life is the result of the thousands of small, quiet decisions you make when no one's watching. You don't rise in the big moments. You rise in the private ones, in the lonely hours, in the unseen grind, in the repetition. That's where confidence is built, not in talking, not in planning, in doing. Every day, especially when it's hard, especially when you don't feel like it. And when you do that long enough, your brain changes, your habits change, your standards rise. You start expecting more from yourself. You start moving differently. You stop needing external accountability because you've built it internally. You've trained your mind to expect effort, to welcome challenge, to lean into resistance, because you've tasted what it feels like to earn a win. And nothing feels better than that. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than the person you were yesterday. That's what winners focus on. Constant, daily evolution. They wake up hungry to improve. They review their day. They ask hard questions. What did I do well? Where did I slip? What needs to change? And then they act. They adjust. They refine. They move forward. No guilt, no self-pity, just awareness and execution. That's the game. Learn, adjust, execute. Again and again. You're not stuck. You're just untrained. And that can change, starting today, right now. Because the minute you decide to start thinking like a winner, everything begins to shift. You show up different. You carry yourself different. You move through life with a sense of responsibility that most people never tap into. And that's what this world needs. More people willing to take full ownership of their mind, their actions, their life. People who stop blaming, stop waiting, stop settling. People who lead themselves, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when the results are slow. Because eventually, the results will come. The life will shift. The impact will spread. And it will all trace back to the moment you made a decision to think like a winner. And once you make that decision, there's no going back. You start seeing the world differently, not through the lens of luck, not through the eyes of envy, but through a sharper, clearer view, one that recognizes what's possible when you get serious about your thoughts and your habits. When you start thinking like a winner, you don't chase success. You attract it by the person you become. You stop reacting to life, and you start directing it. You don't wait to feel confident. You build it by doing hard things. You don't beg for validation. You validate yourself through action. That's how you separate yourself. Not by talking louder, not by moving faster, but by thinking with intention and moving with purpose. You have to wake up every day and remind yourself of what you're working toward. Don't let comfort steal your future. Don't let distractions rob your focus. The world is full of people who quit on themselves every day, full of people who fold at the first sign of discomfort. But winners are different. They push through. They adapt. They rise. It's not about being perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. But you don't stay there. You learn from it. You get up faster. You sharpen your mind so that next time you're stronger. That's the process. Not avoiding failure, but becoming resilient through it. You want to think like a winner. Learn to handle pressure. Learn to stay composed. Learn to be calm when it's chaotic. There's power in self-control. When everyone else is losing their focus, you keep yours. When others are chasing shortcuts, you stay consistent. When people mock your discipline, you keep building quietly. Because winners don't get distracted by noise. They're too busy creating results. You have to set boundaries. Not just with other people, with yourself. Winners don't give in to every impulse. They don't entertain every emotion. They don't indulge every excuse. They make decisions based on vision, not feelings. Feelings change. Purpose doesn't. And if you don't take control of your mind will control you. It'll tell you it's too hard. It'll tell you you're not good enough. It'll whisper doubt, feed fear, and remind you of every failure you've ever had. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching your thoughts. And the moment you learn to challenge them, to rewrite them, you take back the power. That's how mental toughness is built. Not by avoiding hard things, but by walking through them with courage. Day after day, it's repetition. It's effort. It's showing up even when you don't want to. That's where identity changes. That's how you start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit, someone who keeps promises to themselves. And when you build that kind of self-trust, it's game over. Because nothing is more powerful than believing in your own ability to figure things out. When you know, not hope, not wish, but know that you'll do what it takes, you become unstoppable. That's the winner's edge. Not luck, not talent. Relentless self-trust, backed by real habits. The truth is, most people don't want to do what it takes. They want the reward without the process. They want the respect without the work. They want the result without the discomfort. But that's not how success works. That's not how greatness is built. Winners don't wait to feel ready. They start. They stay committed. And they earn every step. They understand the value of consistency. Small, daily choices. Quiet discipline. The kind that no one sees, but everyone feels. You can tell when someone lives with intention. You can feel it in how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they handle adversity. They're not chasing hype. They're building something real. You want to be that kind of person. Steady, grounded, clear, not swayed by emotion, not caught up in comparison, not seduced by comfort. You want to be the one who shows up early, stays late, and never needs to be told what to do, because your standards are higher. Your goals are non-negotiable. Your time is sacred. The days of making excuses have to end. The days of blaming your past, your environment, your circumstances, they have to end. Winners take full responsibility for their thoughts, for their energy, for their outcomes. They don't wait for a handout. They don't complain when it's hard. They don't shrink when things get uncomfortable. They lean in. They level up. They rise to meet the challenge. That's how you earn confidence. Not by pretending, not by hoping, but by proving to yourself, over and over, that you will do what others won't. That's where the mindset of a winner comes from. Relentless action, brutal honesty, deep commitment. You want to change your life? Start by changing your patterns. Change your morning. Change how you talk to yourself. Change how you respond when things don't go your way. That's where transformation begins. Not in a new strategy, but in a new standard. Winners don't ask for easy. They ask for the strength to handle hard. They don't want shortcuts. They want results, and they'll do whatever it takes to earn them. Because they know there's no better feeling than becoming the kind of person they used to look up to. You have to choose that every day. Choose the hard path. Choose the higher road. Choose to stay focused when it would be easier to give in. That's how you break average. That's how you rise above. And that's how you win, from the inside out. And when that mindset becomes your default, everything else becomes simpler. Not easier, simpler. You stop second guessing. You stop hesitating. You stop negotiating with laziness. You just move with intention, with clarity, with conviction. And the results, they follow. Slowly at first, then faster, then all at once. Not because you got lucky, but because you got serious. And most people never do. The key is to build momentum through daily choices, through tiny victories that add up and change the direction of your life. Momentum is the force that carries you forward when motivation fades. It's the reason why winners keep moving, even when they don't feel like it, because they know action fuels motivation, not the other way around. It's easy to wait for perfect conditions, to wait for the right moment. But the truth is, the right moment rarely shows up. You create it by starting now, by deciding today that you will be better than you were yesterday. It doesn't have to be a big leap. It can be one small step forward, one extra page read, one call made, one moment spent focused, not distracted. The mindset of a winner refuses to settle for average. It looks at challenges and sees opportunity. It faces criticism and sees growth. It feels fear and chooses courage. It hears doubt and doubles down on belief. It's not born, it's built with patience and persistence. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is that success is about talent. Talent is useful, sure, but it's not enough. Talent without discipline is wasted potential. The real difference between winners and others is how they think about effort. Winners see effort as the gateway to everything. They welcome it. They honor it. They understand that no matter how gifted you are, effort is the currency that buys progress. So you have to ask yourself, how much effort are you willing to put in? Because your future is shaped by the work you do when no one is watching. It's shaped by the habits you build when there's no applause. Winners don't wait for recognition. They show up day in and day out, driven by their own internal standards. This is why clarity is so important. When your purpose is clear, your path becomes clearer. When you know why you want something, you'll find ways to get it, even when the going gets tough. Clarity focuses your energy, sharpens your decisions, and filters out distractions. Winners don't waste time wondering what's next. They know what they want, and they go after it with everything they have. But clarity alone isn't enough. It must be paired with belief. Belief in yourself and your ability to figure things out. The biggest obstacle to success is doubt. It's the voice in your head that says, you're not ready, or you don't have what it takes. Winners silence that voice, not by ignoring it, but by confronting it. They replace doubt with evidence. Evidence built through action, persistence, and small wins. Belief doesn't mean you have to feel confident all the time. It means you commit to moving forward, even when confidence is low. It means you trust the process and trust yourself. And that trust grows stronger each time you keep your word to yourself. Purpose is the fuel that powers everything else. Without purpose, you drift. You lose motivation. You get distracted. But when your purpose is alive inside you, it drives you like a fire that can't be put out. It's the reason you get out of bed when it's easier to stay under the covers. It's the reason you push through pain, through failure, through rejection. Purpose gives your life meaning. It connects you to something bigger than yourself. And that connection makes the journey worthwhile, no matter how hard it gets. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the daily practice of doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And with that strength, you gain control over your life. Successful people don't rely on motivation to get started. They rely on discipline to keep going. They know that motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what carries them through the lows. Action is the heartbeat of achievement. You can have all the mindset, clarity, and purpose in the world, but if you don't take action, none of it matters. Winners are doers. They don't sit waiting for perfect conditions. They create conditions by acting. They fail, they learn, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Action creates feedback. It teaches you what works and what doesn't. It builds momentum. It turns ideas into results. And when you combine action with consistency, you create unstoppable progress. Gratitude is often overlooked, but it's a powerful mindset tool. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already present. It reminds you of your strengths, your opportunities, and your progress. Winners practice gratitude because it grounds them. It keeps them humble and hungry at the same time. When you're grateful, you're more resilient. You bounce back faster from setbacks because you remember all the reasons you started. You don't get stuck in negativity. You keep your eyes on the prize. Adaptability is a winner's secret weapon. Life will throw curveballs. Plans will change. Challenges will arise. Winners don't resist change. They embrace it. They stay flexible. They adjust their strategies without losing sight of their goals. Being adaptable means you don't take failure personally. It means you see obstacles as information, not as walls. It means you're willing to learn new skills, to grow in new directions, and to keep evolving. Resilience is the backbone of success. It's the ability to recover quickly, to keep fighting, to keep believing even when the world tries to knock you down. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build by facing adversity and refusing to give up. The more you practice resilience, the tougher you become. And the tougher you are, the less life's difficulties can shake you. You learn to keep your focus, your confidence, and your peace, no matter what. Learning is the engine of growth. Winners never stop learning. They read, they listen, they observe, they seek feedback. They understand that the world is constantly changing, and to keep up, they must keep growing. Learning keeps your mind sharp. It keeps you relevant. It opens new doors and creates new opportunities. And learning builds confidence because knowledge removes fear. The mindset of a winner is not about perfection or never making mistakes. It's about being relentless in your pursuit of improvement. It's about being patient with yourself, but demanding of your habits. It's about choosing growth over comfort every single day. You don't have to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. You just have to be the one who keeps going when others stop. The one who chooses action over excuses. The one who believes in their vision and refuses to let doubt win. That's how winners think. That's how winners live. That's how winners become. It's a mindset you can choose today. It's a path that's always open, no matter where you're starting from. It requires courage. It requires honesty. It requires grit, but the reward is worth it. A life of purpose, progress, and pride. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to ask for approval. You don't have to be perfect. All you have to do is decide to think differently, act differently, and refuse to settle for less. The choice is yours. Will you be the person who lets fear hold you back? Or will you be the person who rises every day with a mindset of a winner? The world belongs to those who believe in themselves, to those who dare to dream bigger, work harder, and stay committed longer than anyone else. To those who understand that success is a process shaped by thought, action, and relentless discipline. This is your moment. This is your call to rise. This is the mindset of a winner, a mindset that will change everything if you let it. Keep your mind sharp. Keep your heart strong. Keep your eyes on the prize. And never stop moving forward. Because winners don't wait for the right moment. They make the moment right by how they think and what they do. Your journey starts now. Your mindset is the key. And once you unlock it, nothing will ever be the same again. The mindset of a winner is not a destination. It's a way of life. It's waking up every day, knowing you are responsible for what happens next. It's understanding that nobody owes you success or happiness. It's realizing that your future is shaped by the decisions you make right now, not by your past or your circumstances. This mindset demands honesty. You must be brutally honest with yourself about where you are, what you want, and what you're willing to do to get it. Winners don't hide behind excuses or blame others. They look in the mirror and take full responsibility. They know that only by owning their reality can they change it. At the same time, winners balance honesty with optimism. They acknowledge their struggles without letting those struggles define them. They believe in their ability to improve, to adapt, and to overcome. This isn't blind hope. It's a practical, proven belief based on action and evidence. The difference between winners and everyone else often comes down to one word: consistency. You don't win by grand gestures alone. You win by the daily commitment to show up and do the work. By doing the hard things when no one else is watching. By building habits that support your goals. By refusing to quit when it's tough. Success is not magic, it's math. Small actions repeated over time equal extraordinary results. Every day you make a choice to move closer to your dreams or to drift away from them. Winners choose progress. The power of your mind is the most valuable asset you have. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. If you can control your actions, you can control your results. That's why the mindset of a winner is rooted in mental discipline. Mental discipline means you don't allow your emotions to dictate your decisions. It means you train your mind to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. It means you develop the resilience to face setbacks without losing confidence or clarity. Winners know that failure is not a sign of defeat. It's a necessary part of growth. They understand that every setback carries a lesson, and every mistake offers insight. Rather than fearing failure, they embrace it as a step on the path to mastery. You have to build your mindset like you build a muscle. It requires exercise, challenge, and repetition. It means pushing through discomfort and resisting the urge to settle for easy or comfortable. But it's not just about toughness. It's also about balance. Winners cultivate gratitude for what they have while still striving for more. They celebrate small wins and stay humble in success. They take care of their mind, body, and spirit because they know those are the foundations for sustained achievement. The mindset of a winner is about control. Control over your choices, your focus, and your attitude. It's about knowing that no matter what happens outside, your inner world is yours to command. The journey of success is a test of your mindset every single day. Will you let fear stop you? Will you let doubt freeze you? Or will you choose to believe in your ability to figure things out, to learn, to grow, to adapt, and to keep moving? Your mindset is the gatekeeper to your potential. It's the lens through which you see every challenge and every opportunity. Change your mindset, and you change your world. So ask yourself, what kind of thinker do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to become? Because your mind will take you there, one thought at a time. Every day you have the chance to choose the mindset of a winner, to think bigger, act bolder, and live with more purpose. You don't need to wait for permission from anyone. You don't need to wait for the right time. You only need to start thinking differently, right now. The mindset of a winner is available to you today. If you decide to claim it, it will challenge you. It will stretch you, but it will also empower you beyond what you thought possible. Remember this, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. Keep your vision clear. Keep your purpose strong. Keep your actions intentional. Every thought, every choice, every step matters. And with the right mindset, you can create a life of meaning, achievement, and true success. Your future depends on the way you think today. Make that thinking count, because the mindset of a winner is the greatest power you will ever have. And once you embrace it, nothing will ever be impossible again.